Hello and welcome to the show. This is Soccer Now with myself, Samuel Reese. I'm coming to you from Lexington, Kentucky. Today is Saturday, September 1st, 2018. Hope all of you have had a great start to your long weekend, Labor Day week. And we have a lot to get to. I'll tell you all the scores from not just around Europe, but even here in the U.S., around the world, really. And I'll get you the best sounds of the game in many dialects, really, from around all of the world. And we'll talk about the biggest news coming out today, and we'll discuss all of that coming right up on the show. Let's start right here in the United States with Major League Soccer. As I am speaking right now, it is 9:43 Eastern Time. So if you watch this later, there may be some games that are going on right now that are finished by the time you listen, but just understand that as I'm talking right now, that's how I'm telling the scores. So first of all, the Seattle Sounders beat Sporting Kansas City 3-1 at home, and a big win for Seattle, that's for sure. Diego Rubio scored in the second minute as Sporting Kansas City took the lead. But then it was Raul Ruidiaz in the 12th minute to tie it up. Then a Graham Zusi own goal in the 53rd minute made it 2-1 Seattle. And then 3 minutes later in the 56th, Nicolas Ladero converted a penalty to make it 3-1. Also, Chad Marshall getting a red card in the 81st minute. So that's that. Let's hear the game winner. The game, and what ended up being the game winner, which was an own goal by Graham Zusi. Let's take a listen into that. So that's that. That ended up being the game winner, a Graham Zusi own goal, unfortunately. So Seattle coming up with a big win over SKC. Also, the Montreal Impact defeated the New York Red Bulls 3-0 at home, with Rod Fanny scoring in the 30th minute to make it 1-0. Then 8 minutes later, Bakary Sagna scored to make it 2-0. And then in the 90th minute, Ignacio Piatti made it 3-0. Let's listen in to the goal by Fanny in the 30th minute that made it 1-0. So there is what ended up being the game winner in that one. Also, my favorite team in the MLS, New England Revolution, took on Portland Timbers. It ended up being a 1-1 draw with Scott Caldwell scoring in the 58th minute to put New England up 1-0. But then Lawrence Olum scored in the 70th minute to make it a draw in the end. Let's listen in on the goal that tied it up in the 70th minute by Olum. Take a listen in. Excuse me, we were having some technical difficulty. Here we go.
Now the in-swing corner kick. Turner Cox is loose. Offside. They're claiming goal. And it's given 1-1. It's over the line and all the scores. And that is not what the Reds fans want to see at all. The Reds lose their concentration. They lose their...
So there's that. That ended up being the final result, a 1-1 draw. Also, Orlando City and Philadelphia Union also played to a draw, this time 2-2. Dom Dwyer scored in the 9th minute to make it 1-0. Corey Burke tied it up in the 32nd minute. Fabrice Picot scored in the 88th minute as Philadelphia took the lead, but Orlando Scott Lee Sutter scoring in the 90th minute to make it 2-2. Let's listen in on the goal that tied it up at 1-1 by Philadelphia.
As far as Sapong, twists it out wide once more. Not coming. Coach Bounce says it's an effect.
Excuse me, we were having some technical difficulties here. I apologize for the technical difficulties. We'll see if we can get that back up momentarily. Looks like we may be able to. I apologize. Here we go. We're in here. So there's that. Ended up being 2-2 the final. Also, games momentarily going on. The Columbus Crew lead the New York City FC at home 2-1 in the 83rd minute as I speak. Ismail Tajori-Shradi got the goal in the 53rd minute to put NYCFC up 1-0, but then Harrison Afful with a goal in the 61st minute, and then 2 minutes later in the 63rd, Justin Miram scored to take the lead for Columbus. Also, in the 83rd minute as I speak, also FC Dallas leads Houston Dynamo 4-2 at Dallas, a little Texas rivalry, and a lot of goals too. Let's listen in on Dallas's first goal. Here we go. Sorry.
Reggie Cannon, the right back.
Looks like it's freezing on us. I apologize for the technical difficulty. There we go. Here we go. My bad.
Urruti plays it through. Here's Michael Barrios. Chipping it and staying red hot. Michael Barrios does it again.
So there you go, the Barrios goal, which started one of many goals in that game. So 4-2 FC Dallas leads. In the 84th minute, Toronto FC is down to Los Angeles FC 3-1 at home. Toronto struggles continue. Diego Rossi scored in the 22nd minute to put LAFC up 1-0. Diego Rossi scored again in the 47th minute to make it 2-0. Then in the 49th, Lee Win scored to make it 3-0. Justin Morrow did score in the 74th minute to make it 3-1. So not looking good for Toronto. Let's take a look into Diego Rossi's first goal that made it 1-0. Let's take a listen to that.
It's a strike from distance that takes it and flies it. Creeps into the corner. Diego Rossi with the entrance from long range. And LAFC take the lead here midway through the first half. It's a goal of absolutely.
So yes, there you go, and a little lucky deflection, but they'll take it. LAFC still looking good. Also, Real Salt Lake take on the LA Galaxy at 10 p.m. Eastern, and Vancouver Whitecaps take on San Jose Earthquakes also at 10 Eastern time. All right, let's head to England in the Premier League. There were very much so great games today. It started off with Leicester City and Liverpool. Leicester City did fall to Liverpool 2-1, although it got a little nerve-wracking at the end. Anyway, Sadio Mane scored in the 10th minute to make it 1-0. Roberto Firmino scoring in the 45th to make it 2-0. Rashid Ghazal did make it 2-1 in the 63rd minute, but it was not enough for Leicester. Let's take a look at the goal by Mane to put Liverpool ahead 1-0.
A conseguir ganhar o lance e depois a colocar em Mané. Alguma sorte no salto, precisamente com o homem de quem falávamos há pouco, Harry Maguire. Mas o que é certo é que depois, cara a cara com Kasper Schmeichel, não perdoou Sadio Mané. E de pé esquerdo a fazer o tape.
So there you have it in Portuguese, by the way. some English, soccer, and Portuguese. But yeah, Liverpool coming out on top. Also, Brighton and Hove Albion tied Fulham 2-2. In that one, Andre Schürrle put Fulham up 1-0 in the 43rd minute. Then Alexander Mitrovic put Fulham up 2-0 in the 62nd minute. Things were looking good, but then Glenn Murray made it 2-1 in the 67th minute. And Glenn Murray, again, this time on a penalty kick in the 84th, completed the comeback for Brighton to make it 2-2. So let's take a look. Let's listen to the goal that made it 2-1 to start that comeback for Brighton.
Already holding his shirt on the shoulder, and then Mitrovic, not exactly well in position of the opposing players, and wraps his arm around him and just draws the foul. But then given away. It's a couple of times that's happened to Fulham. Can Brighton exploit it here? Here's Glenn Murray!
There you have it. Glenn Murray with 2 goals on the day, and Brighton getting the draw against Fulham. Also, Chelsea beat Bournemouth 2-0. Eden Hazard, significant to that. Pedro scored in the 72nd minute to make it 1-0. Eden Hazard topping it off in the 85th with the final score of 2-0. Let's take a look into that Pedro goal right now. Anyway, there you have it. Some little technical difficulties at the end, but anyway, getting the point across. Chelsea taking the win. Crystal Palace fell to Southampton at home 2-0. Danny Ings scoring in the 47th minute, and then Pierre-Emile Højbjerg scoring in the 3rd minute of additional time in the second half. Let's listen in on that first Southampton goal.
يسجل الأهداف في هذا الموسم ويسجل لمصلحة ساوثهامبتون القادم من ليفربول بالإعارة يعطي التقدم لساوثهامبتون كريستال بالاس معلنا عن
inside Huddersfield Town at home 1-1. Philip Billing scored in the 34th minute to make it 1-0 for Huddersfield. Then Dominic Calvert-Lewin tied it up 1-1 for Everton. And here is the tying goal from Calvert-Lewin.
على الهدف الذي ولج مرماه إلا وجاء الرد من لاعب دومينيك بكرة عرضية في مباراة تتكلم بلغة الرؤوس العرضية.
There you go. Calvert-Lewin scoring to tie that one up. Also, West Ham United fell to Wanderers 1-0 at home, and not looking good for West Ham, that's for sure, with Adama Traore scoring in the 93rd minute to get the win for Wolves. Let's take a listen into that really dramatic ending.
Work with the Guardians players. Sanchez, the ball licked off him by Ruben Neves. Hooked on again. Traore. The Cannibal Wolves.
There you go. What a win by Wolves. Also, in the final game of the day, Manchester City beat Newcastle United 2-1 at home. Raheem Sterling scoring in the 8th minute. DeAndre Yedlin, though, the American, tied it up in the 30th minute. But Kyle Walker with an absolutely phenomenal strike in the 52nd minute. Let's take a listen to that phenomenal strike.
Aguero. Raheem Sterling. Não linha de passe, fecha bem para o Newcastle, mas abre-se uma autoestrada para Sterling. Conseguiu fechar as linhas de passe, o remate de Kyle Walker. Grande golo de Kyle Walker. Remate.
So there you have it. Kyle Walker with an absolute bullet of a shot, and impressive it was. Also, going back to the United States in the USL, Indy 11 tied Richmond Kickers 1-1. Let's take a look into. Let's move on to North Carolina FC took on Tampa Bay Rowdies. The Rowdies winning 3-0 at North Carolina. Also, Charlotte Independence leading Nashville SC 1-0 as I speak. FC Cincinnati beat the Pittsburgh Riverhounds 2-1, and yes, also Fresno FC takes on Reno at 10 p.m. Eastern time. Portland Timbers second team takes on St. Louis FC at 10 p.m. Eastern. Also, the LA Galaxy second team takes on Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC at 10:30 p.m. All right, let's head to France in Ligue 1. Nimes fell to PSG 4-2, but what a thriller that one was. And let's take a listen to Mbappe's goal that made it 3-2 at that point of the game.
Sont en souffrance les Parisiens. Oui, c'est bien le grand Paris Saint-Germain qui est en train de souffrir face au tout petit Dinois, tout petit budget, plus petit budget de la Ligue 1. Attention à la contre-attaque. Mbappé, ça fait but. Et ça fait but, la volée aux Parisiennes. Voilà pourquoi Paris peut gagner les matchs. Parce que
So there you have it. Mbappe being Mbappe still. What a player he is. PSG getting the win despite a 6-goal thriller of a crazy game, really. Angers beat Lille 1-0 at home. By the way, excuse me, Neymar scored in the 36th minute. Di Maria scored in the 40th minute. And then Bobachon scored in the 63rd minute to make it 2-1. And Teji Savanier scored a penalty in the 71st minute. As I mentioned, Kylian Mbappe scoring in the 77th. And then Edinson Cavani really putting the game to bed in the 92nd minute to make it 4-2. Mbappe had a red card in the 94th minute. And Savanier having a red card in the 95th minute. So dramatic ending, really. As I mentioned, Angers beat Lille 1-0. Ismail Traore scored in the 60th minute. Mangani with a red card in the 64th minute. Loic Remy missing a penalty kick in the 65th. Really had everything that you want in that game. Let's take a listen to the lone goal in that one. Come on. I apologize. Here we go.
Et de nouveau, une tête et une reprise d'Ismaël Traoré avec Tolisso qui est resté sur la ligne, le capitaine qui vient inscrire dans sa 4e saison avec le score.
There you have it. Angers getting the win at their home stadium. Dijon fell to Caen 2-0 at home. Crivelli scored in the 21st minute, and Claudio Beavu scored in the 94th minute to top it off at 2-0. Let's take a listen to that first goal.
Il a pris dessus cette fois, l'auto avait fait sa face, mais il est toujours là en deuxième ballon avec Sanko. Bien joué, fait sa face. Première intention, le centre avec un ballon qui traîne dans la surface. Kirili, ouais, ça va terminer au fond. Maximum de réussite, certes, mais le but est validé. Son 2e de la saison. Les Canets.
All right, there you go. So Dijon losing at home, pretty crazy. Guingamp also lost at home to Toulouse 2-1. Gradel scored in the 2nd minute to put Toulouse up. Then in the 12th minute, Sangare made it 2-0. A second yellow red card to Todibo in the 26th minute. So they had to play down a man for a long time, that's for sure. They did get one in the 45th minute by Thuram, but it wasn't enough in the end. Let's take a listen to that first goal coming early in the game. The 2nd minute it was.
Gradel sur la passe de Manu Garcia qui était en position illicite au début de l'action. Bon ballon là de Gradel pour Thuram. C'est peut-être pas terminé en 2 temps pour les Toulousains. C'est bien fait avec Manu Garcia pour Gradel. Gradel face à Kalei Johnson. Et la lucarne de Maxana Gradel qui vient d'entrer.
All right, so what a goal it was. And yeah, Toulouse coming out on top. Reims fell to Montpellier at home 1-0. And the lone goal coming in the 77th minute by Ambroise Oyongo Bitolo. Let's take a listen to that goal.
Gaëtan Laborde qui a pu se retourner. Oh, le double crochet là quand Abdelhamid, c'est super bien joué de la part de Gaëtan Laborde. Oyongo. Oh, quelle lutte, quelle frappe croisée d'Ambroise.
So yeah, it was a great strike if you didn't see it, and yeah, it was absolutely phenomenal. And in the other game, Strasbourg fell to Nantes 3-2 at home. Jorge scored in the 21st minute to make it 1-0 to Strasbourg. Mitrovic own goal made it 1-1 in the 34th minute. Then Evan Galista scored in the 47th minute. In stoppage time, that was in the first half, to make it 2-1 in favor of Nantes. Then it went 3-1 Nantes in the 59th minute with a goal by Salah. And Nuno da Costa did score to make it 3-2 in the 81st minute, but it wasn't enough for the Strasbourg comeback. So let's take a listen to the goal by Evan Galista that made it 2-1 Nantes.
Ça va dans l'autre sens. Le jeu qui se poursuit. Attention avec Badje Loiris. Badje Loiris qui temporise, qui va décaler côté droit avec la frappe à venir. Et ce but inscrit pour les Nantais, ça fait 2-1 dans les toutes dernières secondes de la première période.
All right, there you have it. That's all from France. Let's go to Germany in the Bundesliga. Augsburg tied Borussia Mönchengladbach 1-1. Gregoritsch scored in the 12th minute to make it 1-0 in favor of Augsburg. But then in the 68th minute, Plié scored in the 68th minute. So a 1-1 draw in the end. Let's listen to the goal that tied it up in the 68th minute by Plié.
Corner frappé au premier poteau, c'est prolongé, la tête à la salle Pléa. Et voilà le premier but du Français. Sous les couleurs du Borussia Mönchengladbach en championnat, il avait déjà marqué en coupe. Et là, il ouvre son compteur en Bundesliga.
So yeah, that tied it up, and that ended up being the final result. Bayer Leverkusen fell to Wolfsburg at home 3-1. Leverkusen did take the lead on a beautiful Leon Bailey goal in the 24th minute, but Ozkan had an own goal in the 36th that tied it up. Then the 55th, Weghorst scored to make it 2-1 in favor of Wolfsburg. Then in the 60th minute, Renato Steffen made it 3-1. Let's take a listen to that goal that made it 2-1 in favor of Wolfsburg. Here you have it.
Ce corner, envoyé de la tête par Jonathan avec la frappe enchaînée. Entrée par Wendel. Ça va revenir avec Roussillon, le centre de Roussillon dans cette surface de réparation. Le côté et le but inscrit par Weghorst, le néerlandais. Première réalisation pour...
So yes, Wolfsburg getting the win in a comeback fashion for sure. Eintracht Frankfurt fell to Werder Bremen at home 2-1. Sacco made it 1-0 in favor of Bremen in the 20th minute. Then Sebastian Haller tied it up on a penalty kick in the 54th. In the 96th minute, Werder Bremen won it with a Rashica goal. Let's take a listen to that final goal in deep in the stoppage time it was. Let's take a listen.
C'est frappé par Rashica. C'est hors de portée de Kevin Trapp. Oh, quelle est belle cette histoire pour Milot Rashica qui est entré il y a quelques secondes.
So yeah, absolutely crazy there. Hoffenheim beat Freiburg 3-1. Dominique Heinz, though, scored for Freiburg in the 36th minute to take the lead. Adam Zilai tied it up in the 50th. Zilai scoring again in the 63rd. And then Kramaric putting the cherry on top in the 95th to secure the Hoffenheim win. Let's take a listen to the Zilai's second goal in the 63rd minute that made it 2-1 in favor of Hoffenheim.
Il y a un peu plus d'entrain du côté d'Hoffenheim, mais malgré tout, Fribourg essaye aussi de tenir ce qui sera un bon match nul. S'il reste encore pas mal de temps, ça sera un bon débordement. Le centre de Schultz, et ça va faire 2-1 avec le doublé pour Adam Zalai.
All right, there you go. Also, Nuremberg tied Mainz 1-1. There was a goal by Jean-Philippe Mateta in the 25th minute for Mainz to take the lead, but the newly promoted side wouldn't give up with Ishak scoring in the 48th to make it 1-1. Also, in the nightcapper of Bundesliga, Stuttgart fell to Bayern Munich 3-0 at home. Leon Goretzka scoring in the 37th minute to make it 1-0. Lewandowski scoring in the 62nd to make it 2-0. And Thomas Müller scoring in the 76th to top it off at 3-0. Here's the Leon Goretzka goal in the 37th minute. Take a listen.
In a fine shot in his first goal for the club. 1-0, no more than Niko Kovac's side deserved. Jerome Boateng, he's probably been Bayern Munich's best player in this.
All right, so there you have it. Bayern Munich getting the comfortable win. Let's head to Italy in Serie A. There were just 2 games, but big games really. Bologna fell to Inter 3-0, and Inter finally really being the team we thought they would be. Radha Nainggolan scored in the 67th minute, the former Roma man, and then Antonio Candreva scored in the 82nd. 3 minutes later, Ivan Pedicic scored to make it 3-0. Here is the Nainggolan goal in the 67th minute that started that run for Inter.
Keita dans le jeu. Gagliardini à nouveau. Politano. Le petit extérieur vers Nainggolan. Et le ninja.
So there you have it. Nainggolan scoring for Inter. Also, Parma took on Juventus. They fell 2-1. But it was a nail biter, but not too much. Juventus knew what they were doing. Mandzukic scored in the 2nd minute to make it 1-0. Then Gervinho scored to make it 1-1 in the 33rd minute, where we all went, hold on for a second. But Blaise Matuidi did end up scoring in the 58th to top it off at 2-1. Let's take a listen to that Blaise Matuidi goal.
Świetnie Mandzukic, okazja gol! Ależ petarda bez Matuidiego I jego czysty.
So yeah, what a goal it was from Matuidi to get the Juventus win, although Ronaldo's still not scoring. We'll see how he does in the next couple of games, especially when Champions League comes around. Let's go to Spain in the La Liga action. Celta Vigo beat Atletico Madrid 2-0 at home, the shocker of the day, with Maximiliano Gomez scoring in the 46th and Iago Aspas scoring in the 52nd. Let's take a listen to that Gomez goal that really started the upset.
Saul. Avec Philippe Luis. Oula, la glissade de Diego Godin. Et Maxi Gomez pour en profiter. Maxi Gomez! Il a su le faire! Le duel entre Argentins.
So yes, what an upset it was indeed. The Rayo Vallecano Athletic Club game got postponed due to Rayo Stadium not being ready. So I'm definitely concerned for them. But it's yet to be determined when that match will end up being played. But also, Real Madrid beat Leganés 4-1. Gareth Bale scored in the 17th minute. Then Guido Carrillo scored a penalty for Leganés in the 24th. But then Karim Benzema scored in the 48th and 61st minute. And Sergio Ramos capping it off with a penalty in the 66th to make it 4-1. Let's take a listen to that Karim Benzema first goal to make it 2-1 in favor of Real. So there you have it. That goal actually was called off at first and had to go to VAR, but they did call it a goal in the end. No matter what, the Real Madrid winning comfortably in the end. Let's take a look at Mexico in Liga Apertura. Cruz Azul beat Veracruz 4-1. Alvarado scoring in the 33rd minute. Then a penalty by Carrasco to tie it up. But then Hernandez scoring in the 56th minute. And from then on, it was pretty dominant. A 70th minute goal by Joel Carvalho. And then a Neuer own goal in the 77th minute, making it 4-1. Take a listen to the goal by Hernandez that made it 2-1 in favor of Cruz Azul. So there you have it. Golazo, golazo, golazo. Leon fell to Pumas 2-1 at home. Montes scored in the 15th minute to put the home side in front, but then Mora scored in the 44th to tie it up. Then the winner by Mora in the 57th minute took place. Also a red card, second yellow for Aquino in the 59th minute. Also, elsewhere, Tigres beat Atlas 3-1. Andrade put Atlas in front in the second minute very early on, but Torres Nilo tied it up in the 67th. Andre Pierre Gignac scoring in the 75th, and Ener Valencia scoring in the 86th minute. For you European football fans, I'm sure you heard of Gignac and Valencia. But yeah, a good win for Tigres. Let's listen to the goal that put Atlas up front, though, just because we don't have any audio for the rest of the game, since it ended so soon.
Ese balón para la ubicación de Andrés Pierre Gignac. Y acá viene el contragolpe. Atención, maneja el rifle Andrade. Andrés sigue. Andrés. ¡Golazo! ¡Golazo!
All right, although that did put Atlas up front very early indeed, Tigres did come up on top. Also going on right now in the 8th minute, it's Guadalajara 0, Pachuca 0. Let's go to Netherlands in Eredivisie. VVV Venlo tied SC Heerenveen 1-1. Goal by Lemaire in the 32nd minute, but Venlo tied it up in the 69th minute with the goal by Houston. Excelsior fell to Den Haag 4-2. Den Haag went in front on a penalty kick in the 21st, then went up 2-0 in the second minute of added time in the first half by El Kayati. Went up even 3-0 with another goal by El Kayati in the 65th. In the 69th, a hat trick by El Kayati put them up 4-0. Although Excelsior did get two back in the 70th and 72nd minute with goals by Anderson and Mamudov. PSV Eindhoven destroyed Willem 6-1 with Hendricks scoring in the 7th minute, Bergwijn scoring in the 13th, Pereiro penalty kick in the 35th, Viergever in the 44th. In the 46th minute, the one goal by Willem did take place with a goal by Franz Sol. Viergever with another goal to make it 5-1, and then Bergwijn with his second to make it 6-1 in the 72nd. So a dominant performance by PSV Eindhoven. Let's take a listen to the first goal that took place by Hendricks. Here we go.
Hendricks. Lekker volley goal! Wat een mooie goal van Hendricks. Wat een spectaculaire uithaal.
So yeah, it was a phenomenal goal by Hendricks in the start to what it would be a dominant performance for PSV Eindhoven. And last but not least, absolutely but not least, one of the best leagues in Europe, in my opinion, despite my Portuguese heritage. Let's go to Portugal in Primeira Liga NOS. Belenenses tied Vitória Setúbal 0-0. Not too much going on there, to be honest. 1 point for each. But a more exciting game that did take place was Santa Clara and Boa Vista. Santa Clara winning 4-2 the San Miguel side. What a fascinating start they have. They can score goals, that's for sure. Thiago Santana scored in the 19th minute to make it 1-0. Falcone tied it up for Boa Vista in the 45th. Fernando Santos, not the Portuguese coach though, but for Santa Clara, scored in the 50th minute. Then Osama Rashid scored in the 60th to make it 3-1, and Boa Vista made it 3-2 in the 65th minute. But Osama Rashid got his second goal in the 90th to seal the deal for Santa Clara, the Azores San Miguel side at Estadio de San Miguel, to make it in the 4-2 San Miguel. Let's take a listen to Fernando Santos' goal to make it 2-1 for Santa Clara. Here we go. No commentary, by the way. What an electric atmosphere it was at Estadio de São Miguel. I actually went there when I went to Portugal, and what a great stadium it is. It's awesome to see Santa Clara in the first division, and hopefully they can stay there. All right, that's all of your scores. I know it's a lot to take in, but trust me, it's phenomenal to have all this action going on. But let's get to all the news from today taking place. First of all, a report saying that Mourinho didn't ask Sanchez to skip Chile as he has backed the United star to improve. The Manchester United manager Jose Mourinho discussed the form of the struggling forward Alexis Sanchez ahead of Sunday's must-win trip to Burnley. And Jose Mourinho believes Alexis Sanchez will rediscover his best form at Manchester United. After rejecting suggestions, he forced the Chile international to skip the country's upcoming friendlies. Sanchez was not included in the squad for Chile's trip to the Far East, where the South Americans will face Japan and South Korea on September 6th and 10th, respectively. Chile head coach Reynaldo Rueda claimed that Sanchez, who came off the bench in the 3-0 loss to Tottenham, having missed the 3-2 defeat at Brighton and Hove Albion, was left out at the recommendation of Premier League giants United. Preparing for Sunday's must-win match against Burnley, United manager Mourinho told reporters, "I didn't ask Alexis, and I never asked players not to go away. I also never contact national teams for players not to go. It's a personal thing between him and the national manager." At the same time, coming from injury, Alexis feels that for him, it is a much-needed 2 weeks off. He is still in conditions to play against Burnley, but he feels that after that, he needs 2 weeks to put himself in good shape. And because they are friendly matches in Asia, they made a decision for his good and by consequence for our good. Sanchez swapped Arsenal for United in a blockbuster deal in January. However, the 29-year-old has struggled to make an impact at Old Trafford. Since moving to Manchester, Sanchez has only scored 3 goals, though the enjoyed and encouraging preseason after finding the back of the net twice. Mourinho, whose United have suffered back-to-back defeats, said he had a good preseason, he had a good start to the season. Then he had a small injury that kept him out, and then he came just one day before Tottenham, and he comes into the game with the result 2-0. Let's see from now. He is committed. He is focused. He works hard. I believe he will improve. There you have it. Also, Goretzka has earned praise from Kovac after his first Bayern goal. Niko Kovac did praise Leon Goretzka after the 23-year-old scored a goal and set up another in the Saturday's 3-0 win over Stuttgart today, I should say. Bayern Munich head coach Niko Kovac congratulated Leon Goretzka after the midfielder opened his goal-scoring account for the Bundesliga champions. The former Schalke prodigy Goretzka, who arrived in the offseason, scored one and set up another as Bayern defeated Stuttgart 3-0 today. The 23-year-old curled home the opener away to Stuttgart before teeing up Robert Lewandowski to make it 2-0 at Mercedes-Benz Arena. Speaking to reporters about Goretzka post-match, Kovac said, "I'm very happy. He did a good job in the preseason. He played a little bit less than minutes than others all the time. But for today, we had the feeling that he is the right player to start with his ability to create space, his aggressiveness, and his pace. He can help us a lot with that." The opening was a shot from 16 meters. So from then on, the game was a bit easier for us. I'm happy for him that he scored his first goal in his first Bundesliga game with Bayern. Or was it his second game already? Yes, right, his second. So it was his first goal, and I'm happy for him. Bayern continued their winning start under Kovac thanks to a 3-goal second half away from home. The first half proved frustrating for Bayern, who finally made the breakthrough in the second 45 via Goretzka, Lewandowski, and Thomas Muller. He said, "I'm very happy about my team's performance," Kovac added. "We played very concentrated over the whole 90 minutes. Defensively and offensively, how many chances we had in the second half shows that we are able to do a lot of good things with the ball. I hope that we can keep our game on that level. I think we can do that in the future too. But I know every game is different, and we have to prove that we are capable to do in every single game." Koulibaly has signed a new 5-year Napoli deal, as Kalidou Koulibaly had been linked with a move to Chelsea in the past year, but he has committed his future to Napoli. The Senegalese defender Kalidou Koulibaly has signed a new 5-year contract with Napoli. The Serie A club have confirmed the 27-year-old center back has committed his future to the Italian club until June 30th of 2023. Koulibaly has been heavily linked with Chelsea for much of the last year, and Mauricio Sarri's move to Stamford Bridge encouraged talk that he could follow him to the Premier League. Napoli president Aurelio De Laurentiis claimed in August that he had rejected 390 million euro offers from English clubs for a player he considers to be the best defender in the world, probably. It has been speculated there could be a release clause in the region of 100 million euros in Koulibaly's new deal, although Napoli did not disclose any such details. The Senegal international has made 125 appearances in Serie A since signing from Genk in 2014, scoring 8 goals. So there you have it, Koulibaly staying. Also, why shouldn't he score 40? Lopetegui has backed Benzema for the Pichichi Prize. Karim Benzema has 4 goals in 3 La Liga matches, and Real Madrid boss Julian Lopetegui sees no reason why his form cannot continue. The Real Madrid head coach Julian Lopetegui has backed Karim Benzema to challenge the Pichichi Prize this season following his explosive start to the 2018-19 season. Benzema took his tally to 4 goals in 3 La Liga games with a double in today's 4-1 win over Leganés at the Santiago Bernabeu. The 30-year-old, who only scored 5 times in the league in the whole of last season, appeared to be flourishing in front of goal following the departure of Cristiano Ronaldo to Juventus. And Lopetegui sees no reason why the former Lyon man cannot aim for 30 goals or more and mount a challenge to finish as the division's top scorer. Why not? Lopetegui said when asked about Benzema's chances. Why shouldn't he finish with 30 or 40 goals? The most important thing is the team, and goals are the work of the whole team. Benzema is a great player and always has been. What he's doing is credit to him. He's happy and is helping the team and stay like this. Madrid's win saw Thibaut Courtois make his debut. The Belgian international having been preferred to Keylor Navas, who was named UEFA's Champions League goalkeeper of the season for the 2017 and 18 this week. Lopetegui says there is a plan in place for his keepers for the coming months, but refused to state who will be the regular number 1, saying, I didn't give any roadmap, but we knew he was going to play this match, and I won't say any more. Lopetegui said of Courtois, we have 3 great goalkeepers, and we'll try to find best solutions. We decided that Courtois would play this time, but we have excellent options. Keylor Navas is our player and had a great game against Girona before being named the best goalkeeper by UEFA. We'll see how it goes with the decision to be made on the pitch. We do, though, have an idea of what we'll do. They have an idea, but we don't know, so we'll see what goes on. Also, Italy recalled Chiellini as Pellegrini wins his first call-up. Pietro Pellegrini has joined 5 other uncapped players in Roberto Mancini's latest Italy squad, while Giorgio Chiellini makes a return. Giorgio Chiellini has returned to the Italy squad for the first time this year for this month's UEFA Nations League matches against Poland and Portugal. The Juventus defender has not been called up by his country since the World Cup playoff defeat to Sweden in November of last year. Monaco striker Pietro Pellegrini has earned a spot in the senior squad for the first time alongside 5 other uncapped players. Cagliari's Alessio Cragno and Nicolo Barella, Spal defender Manuel Lazzari, Fiorentina's Cristiano Biraghi, and Roma midfielder Nicolo Zaniolo, have also been included in Roberto Mancini's 31-man group. Mario Balotelli is among the strikers selected, meaning he can make his first appearance in a competitive international match since the 2014 World Cup finals. Italy faced Poland in Bologna on September 7th before traveling to Lisbon to face Portugal 3 days later. Also, other news, Keylor wished me luck. Courtois enjoying competition with Navas. Juventus have a lot more work to do, says Allegri. Benzema has surpassed Ronaldo with a goal against his 33rd different La Liga team. Also a championship review as the Baggies beat Stoke as Villa shipped 4. Of course, Real Madrid 4 Leganés 1 as Benzema and Bill lead out of local rivals. Parma won, Juventus 2 as the dog post drowned, but Ronaldo's walk goes on. Spalletti has praised a patient Inter. Guardiola did explain his axing Sane for Manchester City, which was an interesting decision. And Mbappe, after the red card, said, "I would do it again." So not regretting that, I guess. Also, there are things to work on for Manchester City, says the match winner Walker. And also the Zaha absence, no excuse for beating Palace, said Hodgson. Millwall 1, Swansea City 2 was the result as Montero inspired a magical comeback from the Potters men. And Tuchel saluted a physical and mental victory over Nimes. Manchester City 2, Newcastle 1 was the final once again. Of course, there's tons of other news, but that's all we got in time for today. I'm getting tired. I'll need to go to bed, but thanks so much for tuning in, and I should be on tomorrow unless plans change. And yeah, as you've seen today, we'll have a lot to get to. Hope you enjoyed, and enjoy it. Watch all the games tomorrow. See you next time. Bye.